I don't have.
All right, can folks hear me?
Yes.
We'll go ahead and get started. Work sessions are an opportunity for board members to discuss issues informally with staff and invited guests. The board encourages members of the public to attend work sessions and listen to discussion, but there is generally no opportunity for public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the board are welcome to do so during the board's regularly scheduled meetings held twice monthly. First item is the agenda review. So we've got the agenda through the end of September in front of us. Do we have any questions, comments? Commissioner Thompson, you had your hand up?
I do, sir. At the end of September, I'll be at an LCDC hearing, so I won't be available. And here's the thing. If if the chair doesn't announce why I'm not there, speaking of room to make mischief, some people may think there's something wrong with me. When I was at the Eastern Oregon Women's Economic Development Conference in Pendleton, I'm going to be down in Klamath Falls in September. Is there any way you can let people know that I'm not just goofing around or,
I think I've always said that you're excused.
but that doesn't clarify why I'm excused. It may give people the impression that I'm somehow impaired or not actively on commissioner business. And I'm either Clatsop County Commissioner business or LCDC Commissioner business. Do you see?
Well, I mean, yeah, let's talk about this offline.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Thompson. Do we have any other comments? And County Manager, I know we were going to talk about another issue possibly.
Yeah, so Chair Quilo, members of the board, after the VSO presentation today, we were going to have Anthony give a brief update on some litigation that has been taking place between 20 states and the federal government regarding FEMA BRIC program. And so we're going to give a little update on that after the VSO presentation. I did want to make note too, Chair, that on the 13th, we'll be having a TLT discussion, which is circling back off of that last ordinance where we decided to come back into work session. And then I did want to note that on August 20th, we have a number of things, but one of the topics will be a FEMA update, which will be talking about the BIOP and the new draft flood maps that have been presented. So thank you, Chair.
Yep. Thank you, County Manager. Any other comments on the rolling agenda?
I can't see it.
Are you able to see it, Commissioner Webb? Just
I'm sorry.
there, you got it a little bit bolder here.
Okay. Yeah. It's not possible for me to print it, huh?
I think we send it out. I think you'll have a copy of it.
Okay.
Okay. If we don't have any other discussion, we'll go ahead and move on to our next item, which is the semi-annual update on Veterans Services. Carl Wiley, our Veteran Service Officer, is joining us. Welcome, Carl.
Oh,
Hello,
yes.
thank you. I had to switch over as a panelist there. Appreciate everyone's giving me the opportunity to come before you all again. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we sure can. Thanks for being here.
Um, Let me see how to share my presentation here. One moment, please. Sorry, it appears that my new computer is wanting me to give it permissions to share the screen.
Carl, I have a hard copy of your presentation, so I assume everybody else does too.
If
So
everyone has a hard copy, we can just go with that. If that is okay with the chair.
Well, it's okay. I mean, I'd like the public to be able to see it as well that might be joining us. Do you have a copy that you could send to Teresa or somebody that can?
I was gonna ask Teresa, are you able to pull it up?
Yes, I'll pull it up.
Okay,
Thank
there we
you.
go.
I was not expecting that error with
No,
the-
no worries. And I'll note that I understand Commissioner Bangs is driving, so she's not able to join us during the work session.
Are you able
There
to
we-
see it?
There we go.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, wonderful. Yes, as Chair Cuella said, and as most of you all know, I'm Carl Wiley. I'm the Clatsop County Veteran Service Officer. I've been here for a couple years now, about 2.5 years, and twice a year I present to the board the just kind of the status of operations here in the Clatsop County Veteran Service Office and veteran services for the county at large, kind of what we've done, what we're doing, and what we intend to do in the future. In today's overview, on the next slide there, we're going to
And
do
Teresa, can we show it in slideshow mode, just a little bit bigger rather than the entire screen there? Can we?
Oh, I can.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking we could just show one slide at a time, but anyway. There we go.
We're working on it. Just a moment, please.
Yeah, thanks, Teresa.
It appears the gremlins are in everyone's technology today, so it's our exercise in patience and forbearance.
I apologize. We are not able to figure out how to get just the one.
Okay, well, we can just do this.
Let me enhance it.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. Okay, Carl.
All right, we'll go to the second slide here, which is a brief overview of what I'll cover in the next few minutes. And that is, we'll look at a 12-month look back from basically fiscal year 24-25. and our operations throughout that year. And then we'll go over what current operations look like and our future operations going forward into this upcoming fiscal year here. Stand by just a second here.
Okay, now, can you tell me what you see now? Do you see the whole slide?
Perfect. Yes.
Thank
That's
you.
Okay,
perfect.
got the
Thank
slide
you.
on, Carl.
All right, we'll just go to the third slide there. I don't know if I can change them or not. I don't think I can.
Okay.
But this is the beginning of our 12-month look back here. Primarily what this office does is assist veterans in claiming their VA benefits through the Veterans Benefit Administration, as most of you all know, which can be a very bureaucracy-heavy process and can be difficult to navigate if you're not in it all day, every day. So that's where this free service comes in. This office, myself, and the VSO assistant help veterans get in here where we determine their eligibility, explain that to them, and then claim any benefits that they may be eligible for by doing all the forms, filing them, following them through the process that you see in the graphic there, and then looking at the decisions to help make sure that it was done appropriately according to the evidence of record and the law at the time of the decision. And that will kind of come into play here in a couple slides. But this is just a look back on the different types of claims we filed. We filed 105 the last 6 months here, 105 disability claims, only one wartime or non-service connected pension claim. There's just not a lot of those floating around in this demographic presently. And then survivor's pension or dependency indemnity compensation, that is for the surviving spouses or minor children, dependent children of our veterans. We've done 24 this year. And then decision reviews are when we've gone back on VA decisions to have them correct it for an appropriate decision. 54 of those and 4 burials in the past 6 months. So I think it's just a testament to having been in the job a little bit longer, getting a little more proficient. Those numbers are creeping up in the amount of work output that I can create. And then the efficiencies bred by Sam in the VSO position spot, VSO assistant position spot has really helped me to focus more on claims management and advocacy within the system. So we'll go on to the next slide here. We look back here at the last 12 months for compensation and pensions. So the 2 big benefits that come in to our county by way of VA funds are from compensation for service-connected disability or dependency indemnity, or survivors/wartime non-service connected pension. And it just kind of speaks for itself here. It's increasing while there is a cost of living increase that occurs every year. We are seeing an increase just in the effectiveness of our claims, and then going back and having them re-adjudicate them appropriately has served to bring in between our monthly and retroactive payments about a little over 2 million more in compensation and pension than in the previous 6 months of July to December 24. So in this last year, the veterans that are in the system here, which I have 1,800, give or take, survivors and or veterans in the system that I can track, where this data is pulled from out of the over 4,000 in the county last time I looked at the census.gov. There was about $22.25 million received in compensation and pension to those veterans and survivors. So if we go to the next slide here, connecting with clients, and first I'll point out my unintentional addition of the number 2 before the number 9 in home work visits. That should be 9. I can do that math. even in my head. So apologies for that error. But in the connecting with clients outreach in the past 12 months, we look at our office visits about the same because I can only do so much in a work day. And then work or home/work or site visits have gone down. Just those come and go based on demand. Whenever we perceive in a phone call or in an exchange with them that they may need us to come to them, we make a point to do so, or at least to offer it if they're inclined. There was far fewer veterans brought on between January and June of this year versus the first half of the fiscal year. And that is making sense now as I look back at what July looked like this year, because we had a huge spike in this first month here. So that seems to go in peaks and valleys there. Number of claims filed went down by 7, and healthcare enrollment is stayed about the same. We've done veterans breakfasts, treatment court at the Clatsop County courthouse every Friday. Had a couple of beach cleanups. November of last year, we had a very successful convention, which was kind of in the stead of what used to be called a stand down. And we participated in our folks that traditionally have more barriers to accessing care and services, the homeless, those who are involved in domestic violence or traditionally marginalized or historically marginalized communities. We've worked to help with them by getting out to where they are more likely to be found and assisted. We've been able to get in contact with the U.S. Coast Guard so that Coast Guards men and women who are getting out of service in the next year or so, we can provide them eyes on what we do and connect with them so that they can start working their benefits before they get out of service through their transition assistance program here locally, and created new contact and promotional material throughout the year, and a VSO billboard, which is presently out there towards Seaside Way, which has certainly shown that it's done something. Within the first week, we had a little bit of a spike, and that's continued. If we could go to the next slide here. All right. This is just a kind of a breakdown of demographics of where our veteran concentrations are. It's the same heat map on the right-hand side as I had used previously because the numbers are relatively close. They go up and down based on folks moving, passing away, or just falling out of the system because it is technology. And as we've seen today, that happens. So with this, the biggest increase I think we've seen is kind of in the Warrenton-Hammond area or the Astoria area. But that's to be expected because they're larger density areas. If we can go to the next slide. All right, now moving into current operations. Again, we do anywhere between 3 and 5, about an average of 4 appointments daily. And we just booked out into our first October appointment this morning. It's steady. It has been for the duration of my tenure so far. Our veterans breakfast in partnership with Lum's Auto and local restaurants, completely hosted and facilitated by them. The attendance is sitting around 50 veterans once a month come on out and swap war stories and have a chance to just connect with each other and enjoy a hot free meal. And they've discovered that I'm there and that I have remote connectivity, and we do a lot of work in rapid succession with folks there at the breakfast. Sam over here in the office continues to do a balance of workflow and office management and then outreach stuff. He's the one who spearheaded our billboard campaign, got all that there. And we've had about a 200% increase in contacts, and that's just based on the data of the number of voicemails left in a day over what it was before the billboard went up. We also do get a fair amount of emails, but being that our phone number is the only thing on the sign, that's just kind of what I looked at. Our beach cleanups, we've had 2, started with 11, and the last one was 38. which was a great opportunity for veterans to get out. And it wasn't just veterans there, it was also family members and local community members who heard about it to come out. So just to kind of have a combined effort of veterans and non-veteran community members was nice to see. Again, homeless outreach, veterans treatment court is still a focus here, and seeing a shift from the veterans who served in Vietnam. The most of them have received their benefits and or kind of passed away. Unfortunately, we're just getting to that point, especially with all the Agent Orange exposure. It's shortened a lot of lives, unfortunately. I'm seeing an increase in Southwest Asia veterans and newly separated or separating veterans. Southwest Asia being from 1990 Desert Storm all the way up to my generation and on through the global war on terrorism. So all that area, Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, a lot more of those folks coming through here. And then, as I noted before, we're talking about making sure that we go back and ensure that the VA did their claims correctly and the evidence of fact and law was adhered to. There's been a lot more of that not happening. And I don't know if it's because of an influx of hires and decreased training at the VA, but I've had a lot more opportunities to investigate VA errors and push back on those to get them adjudicated appropriately. And it usually ends in a successful or favorable outcome. And next slide. All right, this should be the last one before questions here. We're just going to continue to keep our nose to the grindstone and provide claim service and advocacy as comprehensive and as friendly and professional as possible. Even as we get increased contacts and the claims become a little bit more complex. Trying to prove toxic exposures in other locations has become more complex. And then we have a beach pink cleanup coming up on the 27th. Our November 2025 military veteran conventions in the works. And working with Amanda and other POCs across the cities, county, and veteran and non-veteran organizations to hopefully bolster participation and just the scope of the Operation Greenlight program. And I think that should be it. The next slide ought to be questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Carl. We really appreciate you being an advocate for, our veterans, and this is just so very important. I take your comments about Agent Orange and to heart. I know a good friend of mine's father who passed away from Agent Orange, and it's just so important to have this service available to folks in our community, veterans in our community. I see Commissioner Webb and then Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Webb.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Coyle. Could you tell us a little bit about what the convention is going to look like? What kind of an agenda do you have going for it?
So it'll be similar to last year in just at the Seaside Convention Center, have booths set up for state organizations that offer veterans benefits, ODVA, Fish and Wildlife Parks. We hope to have the National Park Service out there. And then local employers who want to potentially hire or offer hiring opportunities for veterans. Like last year, Hampton Lumber was out there, and other opportunities like that. We do offer county public health to provide services out there. Looking at having the Department of Veteran Affairs or a Veterans Health Administration out there to provide vaccinations, perhaps. And then we also, the social services aspect for those that may need it. The intent this year is to have CCA out there, as well as the HUD-VASH, which is the VA Housing Urban Development Subsidized Housing Program. What was the other? So we're hoping to get Social Security out there, maybe Northwest Seniors and Disability Services to be able to speak to Medicare, Medicaid, and all those things that are available. as well as Social Security and getting enrolled. And we get a number of questions about the difference between Medicare and VA healthcare, and should I get rid of my supplemental? And I always try to point them that way to get a better sight picture of it, because it's important when you're on a fixed income to be able to cut it where you can. So
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
I give them the best information I've got, but then point them to the subject matter experts, understanding I don't know anything about Social Security at this point, really.
Okay. Could you possibly make sure that that we get a notification about the convention?
Sure.
I'd love to stop in and take a look at it. That would be that I think that would be really useful. The other question I have is the we were we were very, very pleased, of course, to get the VA clinic finally here after years of lobbying for it. Have you noticed a real difference? And do you have any idea of what their statistics look like, how many visits they're getting and how many people they're seeing, et cetera?
So the VA clinic has been here for a very long time. It was the North Coast VA clinic on Camp Rylea for quite a number of years. That has since closed down and moved out here to what's the North Coast VA clinic here. As I understand, it's the same one medical doctor provider, the same staff. So I don't interact a whole lot with the VA Health Administration, because the job that I do is getting in them enrolled and established with the benefits on the VA side. But what they are doing now is just kind of steady state what they've been doing. And the bulk of the veterans that I have come through here are going to community care and getting local doctors to provide care to the veteran paid for by VA. That's how my health care is received personally.
Okay.
A doctor at Providence covers that, but it's, to the best of my understanding, there's not been no change in the metrics because the capacity to provide services has not changed, and just because the clinic transition, but the staffing stayed the same,
Okay.
as far as I
Thank you.
know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Mr. Wiley, here's what I want to say. Skills plus longevity equals successful programs. Good job.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
It really makes a difference that you've been there and that you have the skills that you have. So thanks for that. 3 quick questions.
Sure.
There used to be an issue with cremains that hadn't been claimed of veterans. Do you know if Clatsop County has taken care of all of those?
I don't know if Clatsop County has. I know there was what bills before the House. They were waiting for the laws to kind of filter through, and I believe that was in the session this year. And where it panned out, I'm not sure as far as responsibilities, as far as who's going to manage those claims, but I can talk to Monica or Amanda to kind of see if they have any insight on that as well.
Yeah, I didn't track it either, but it seems to be something that we should take care of. You know what I mean? A complete cycle of services. The second thing is I see that you're scheduling out, which is great because the demand is there. Do you have the capacity to provide emergency services in case that needs to happen, or isn't that within your purview?
So the benefits that we provide here are not emergent in nature by any means. When someone files a claim, it's usually 4 to 6 months turnaround from start to finish. However, I do keep spots blocked, a few of them a month, for urgent needs. So if someone it's emergent or urgent, we do get them in and seen. And I also block admin time, where I would spend time researching someone's claim. So it's a juggling act, but I do leave white space on the calendar where I would normally fill it with administrative tasks. If the need arises, I fill it with another appointment and getting them connected. And if it's emergent, like actual life limb eyesight kind of thing, I drop whatever I'm doing and go to them to at least get them in the right direction and give them the information, like if it's healthcare, to tell them, okay, if you're in suicidal crisis, go to the ER, the VA will cover it. There is a law for that. And, just give them that peace of mind and then kind of connect with them on the back end as necessary. And the folks over at County Sheriff's Office, they get a hold of me if they have a veteran in need out there, and I try to follow up sooner rather than later if there's a justice involved veteran, because a lot of the times that's involving a mental health or addiction crisis. Well, it's typically all stemming from a mental health issue.
Thank you. Thank you. That's not surprising, but it really clarifies and expands the range of services you're providing. So I appreciate hearing that. The third thing is the VA and their performance. If you need some kind of support to we're here. We're here.
Absolutely.
We want to support your work wherever and however you're doing it. And thank you.
Absolutely. And the VA went through, all the entire federal government, and especially the VA went through that time where they were doing a reduction in force here at the beginning of the year, I guess, and offering the early out. And then people were also laid off, let go. And what I think we're seeing now is kind of the pendulum swinging back, that they're realizing that, well, maybe that wasn't done the right way. And so it's swinging back and they're having to hire new people. And so it's a lack of training and a need to meet the demand, the burden of claims coming in. A lot of what I see is recently is kind of an easy, like, really? It's kind of easy, but it still results in a denial, which results in a protracted timeline and a barrier to benefits, which is frustrating. But if I can think of a way that the county commissioners can help me speed up the bureaucracy of the VA, I will most definitely bring it up through the channels.
Well, if not the county commissioners, then the federal delegation might be interested in hearing of your experience, because what you're doing, I would consider a model program delivery, and anything that impedes that could be aided by support from elected officials, I'd hope you have access to that.
Yeah, and I'm happy to tell my story. A lot of folks will come to me with issues about efficiencies, lag time, all of this stuff. And unfortunately, I am tapped out in my primary duties. So I encourage them to speak as voters to their elected representatives to push it that way. And if they need information from me, I can usually have that readily available to provide to support that, or anecdotes that I can provide. But working in the lane of pushing for that through elected representatives or federal programs or anything like that, it's outside of my, not necessarily my ability, but my scope. It would detract from what I am doing, which is where it would detract from what I am doing.
Okay, I hear you. Then
Yeah.
maybe that's something,
Yes,
Mr. Chair and colleagues, that we could take a look at and add to our work list or our staffs. I mean, not like anybody needs more work, but
Right.
this issue isn't going to go away, and those who've served deserve support. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate that as someone who served. And I also appreciate it as someone who feels the burden of the issue too. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Thompson. And do know that our staff is responsive as the commission. We do want to do what we can to support you in your position. County Manager.
Chair Quayle, members of the board, I just want to share that Commissioner Banks reached out to me about this topic. She's very interested. And she had asked for the county to kind of look at how other counties are staffed and their caseloads and their wait times, just to see where we are. I mean, I think collectively every county is in a little different place, but certainly with the work Carl's doing and with the assistant, we're certainly, providing access to the portals and to the services that they've earned. And so, but we are going to take a look at that, and we'll share that with your board just to see how the different counties are staffing this service demand. So we'll come back to you probably between now and the next update with that information. Because again, every county, just like so many topics, every county does it a little bit differently. So.
Yeah, thank you for that, County Manager. Do we have any other questions for Carl? Commissioner Wakua?
Thank you, Chair. And thank you very much for the presentation and all the information, everything you're doing, Carl. I was actually just kind of curious about the breakfast at lunch, the age range that you see. I was wondering if you could give me a little insight as to, like, do you see a wide range, or are you seeing specifically elder? Or what do you typically see out of those 50 people that show up? I'm just interested.
I mean, in light of the fact that it's on a first Thursday of the month at 8 a.m., we see mostly folks that don't have a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday to go to. By and large, I see the over 50-ish, maybe a little bit more than that. There are other veterans that are younger, my generation and younger, that do show up, as well as we'll have Coast Guardsmen and women come out there, National Guards personnel come out there from time to time to, if they're on their weekend time frame, they just happen to be out. They'll come out there as well. So we get a wide range, but the preponderance of it is a retired age.
No, that's just normal. I would add to this, when I first moved to Clatsop County, I worked for an assisted living down in Seaside, and I had to help a lot of the veterans there get through the VA. And I started this thing called the rubber band ball. And every time I was on hold with the VA, I would put a rubber band and ball it up. After a year of being there, the rubber band was the size of a basketball, just to help demonstrate how much time you invest into what you do and just trying to navigate the nuances of the VA. So I definitely understand your challenges and appreciate everything you do. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm happy to do it. It's good work, as they say.
Yeah, I think that's a great illustration, and we do appreciate all you do, Carl. Thank you for the update. Thanks for your advocacy for veterans, and thank you for your service.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity once again.
Have a good rest of your day. Thanks.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
All right, County Manager and County Council, we had heard some news from some litigation that was filed on behalf of the state of Oregon and 19 other states. So we'd love to get an update on exactly what's going on with the BRIC program.
All right, thank you, Chair, and good morning, Commissioners. Just going to give a quick update about some litigation concerning the FEMA BRIC grant program. I'd like to start with just kind of a brief background. So anybody who's not familiar with the situation. As the board is aware, the county applied for and was awarded a BRIC grant on behalf of Columbia Memorial Hospital to help fund a tsunami vertical evacuation refuge structure. And this structure is going to be designed to be multi-purposed. It's going to provide a safe, elevated location for hospital patients, staff, and the public during a tsunami. Through the BRIC grant, the federal government was expected to contribute $13,897,122 for this project, and that's out of a total estimated cost of $19,853,032. So they were covering a pretty substantial part of it. Unfortunately, in April this year, the federal administration abruptly announced that it was terminating the BRIC program nationwide, and FEMA informed states that previously selected but unawarded projects would no longer be funded. And this would include our project here in Clatsop County. And this has obviously caused a lot of difficulty for the project. Columbia Memorial Hospital has been moving forward with the assumption that they were going to be receiving this federal funding. And they have moved to the point where they're ready to start breaking ground. So to have it kind of pulled out from under them at the last minute caused a lot of issues. So in response to this, the state of Oregon has joined a coalition of 19 other states to file a lawsuit against FEMA. The purpose of this lawsuit is to ask the courts to declare that the termination of the BRIC program was illegal, to reverse the decision to cancel the program, and then to compel the federal government to make the funds that Congress appropriate for this program available for their intended purposes. And this lawsuit was filed back on July 16th. And as part of this lawsuit, the coalition also filed for a preliminary injunction. And this injunction was to ask the court to freeze all the funds that were allocated for the BRIC program, which is almost $4 billion nationwide, and to have them be excluded from being able to be used for other purposes until at least the end of the lawsuit. And so in some good news, yesterday, the court did grant this injunction. And so, of course, that's good news knowing that the funds are safe for now and they can't be spent or sent to other programs. But I think on a bigger scale, this is also really good news because in order to have a preliminary injunction ruled in your favor, you have to demonstrate to the court that there's a high likelihood that you're going to succeed in this lawsuit on your merits. And so while it's not a guaranteed, it's just a really good sign that the court does acknowledge that there is some issues here and that there's a good chance that the states are correct. And so we are just at the beginning of the lawsuit. There's a lot that still happen. But like I said, this is good news that the injunction was successful. And as it moves forward, I'll continue to keep the board informed.
If I might, Chair.
Yeah.
In addition to what Anthony just provided on the legal side, we are reaching out also through CFM to the administration, to FEMA, and to hopefully have some additional conversation, or if not just information sharing about the fact that, this application was complete, all of the different requirements had been met, and that we are ready to move forward. So we'll see how that converges on the legal side and the administrative side. But obviously, $13 million plus is a big hole. And it's something that we, the county, as well as obviously CMH, had been counting on through the process. So we will see. We're going to work it on both the administrative side and on the legal side. So that's all I have. If there's any questions.
No, thank you, County Manager. Appreciate the update. And yeah, it is good news. I know that from CMH, the project side, I know that there is a deadline of mid-September when you're going to see that work started. So I think time is of the essence, and hopefully there'll be some type of resolution on this. But yeah, it's certainly encouraging at least to know that as County Council pointed out, that there's likelihood that the lawsuit would prevail, and that at least the money isn't going to be utilized for something else. So yeah. Commissioner Webb.
Thank you, Chair Cuella. One of the things that I would love to have us talk about is that this is, I think, one of the reasons that so many of us supported this grant was that it's the first, we hope, of many such platforms, as they're called, to be carefully constructed throughout the vulnerable areas of our county. And so it's kind of the poster child for a series of these that we would love to ultimately build, especially in our populated areas. So we could kind of add that to the fact that this is not only an important component too of the hospital expansion. I mean, that's, for those of us who depend on this. But these are things that we would love to see I think in my conversations with Justin Gibbs, we've talked about maybe 6 of them throughout the county. And that this was the first one. And of course, they're expensive. They cost, and the fact that this one is so closely connected with the hospital expansion, to me is just it's a wonderful thing for us to talk about. That this is the first of what we hope will be several more throughout the county. So if we can kind of add that to our spiel about why we want to make this happen in one of the most densely populated parts of the county as well. So, but that we hope that it's the first of many. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree, Commissioner Webb, and I know that the city of Seaside has been interested in this as well, and the project has got some nationwide exposure at healthcare conferences and others,
Cool.
where folks are looking at this being a kind of a new model for hospitals, and we've seen a lot of examples where there's been flooding, and I know after hurricanes in Tennessee, hospital last fall was a prime example of this, where they did not have that safe refuge, and folks were having to be evacuated off the rooftops, and there was a brand new hospital, so it wasn't something that people expected, but this is something that's a reality and got to be prepared for it. Any other comments, questions for county manager or county council? I really appreciate the update and letting everybody know what's going on. We have anything else on the agenda?
No,
Okay.
Chair.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Have a good rest of your week. Good rest of your day. Take care.